I've taught you how to set FSBO preview appointments. This is my new FSBO script that will teach you how to set listing appointments on the very first call with a for sale by owner. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brandon Mulrenin, and I'm committed to helping you become a top listing agent. So if this video provides you any value, I would ask you with much love and respect to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you never miss anything. So if you want to follow along, there's a link to download my new for sale by owner script in the description below. Grab that, follow along, and let's get to work. So first, I'll break down every line, and then I'll give you an actual live role play at the end. Hi, name. This is how you start off every single phone call to a for sale by owner. We no longer ask, hey, how are you doing today? It's too salesy. The first person's name is the most beautiful name to them, or the most beautiful word to them in the English language. This is gonna help to get their attention. Number two, we're gonna ask a question to the for sale by owner where we know the answer is 100% yes. So we say, this is Brandon, I'm a local realtor, and I understand you're selling the house for sale by owner. Is that right? You're using your first name only, and I'm a local realtor, not your full company name. And we get right into asking the first question in the script, which is, hey, I'm calling about the home for sale. I understand you're selling it on your own. Is that right? This positions the prospect to start talking right away. Why? Because we know the person asking questions is in control, the one talking is not. Number three is what we call a pattern interrupt. The for sale by owner is not used to hearing what you're about to say. They're used to realtors like you and I calling them, trying to convince them to list their house. You're not gonna do that. You're simply gonna say, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I completely respect the fact that you're selling on your own. A matter of fact, if I was you in this market, I would also be selling my home regardless of what the other realtors are saying. Next, we're now gonna ask a question to see if the for sale by owner is open to ideas, suggestions, recommendations, strategies, tactics on selling their home. We are not saying and we are not suggesting that we have a buyer for the home. We're simply going to ask the for sale by owner, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I'm just curious, are you open to the idea of an agent bringing you a buyer for the home? Why do we ask this question? Because we're curious, we're trying to find out if this for sale by owner that we're talking to right now is open to paying a buyer agent commission, because if they are, we're halfway there. Next, now we've got to find out some motivation around why the for sale by owner is selling. So this is the best way to figure out why they're selling, because if you ask this question the wrong way, you're gonna get rejected. So you say, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I love the neighborhood you're in. From what I see online, your home looks great. I'm just curious. What has you guys thinking about moving? Because what you're doing is you're putting the prospect in a position to say, yes, I know, we love it here too, but, and then that's when the motivation comes out. That's when their goals come out. This is the critical goal, the critical information that you're looking for. Next, line number 5, you say, I see. And ideally, when would you like to move? Now we're talking about timing. So now we've got their motivation and their timing. This is gonna give us a lot of information when you set up this phone call in a way to position it as a listing opportunity. This is the most important question in the entire script, so make sure you pay attention. This is when we're gonna find out, do we have a listing opportunity here or do we not? So you're simply gonna say, Mr. or Mrs. For Sale by Owner, listen, the market is great right now. Chances are you're gonna sell this house on your own. I'm curious if in 30 days, for whatever reason, you're unsuccessful selling, at that point, would you consider maybe meeting with a realtor to look at some other options? Now, we're asking this hypothetically. The power in asking hypothetical questions, as you learn more and more about my reverse selling strategy, puts the prospect in a position to answer the question. Why? Because there's no threat. And so we're asking them about something that we've positioned will never happen. We said, Mr. Prospect, chances are this is never going to occur. You are absolutely going to sell this house on your own. This sets us up to ask the qualifying question so we get the answer we're looking for. And it's in a hypothetical situation, so there's no threat for the for sale by owner to answer. So what you're going to find is that most for sale by owners say, yeah, you know what? If we can't sell this house on our own, we'd be open to looking at some other options. That's number one. Number two, what we're also listening for is, do they have an agent that they would be obligated to work with? So if they respond with, you know, yeah, we'd be open. If we can't sell this thing on, we'd be open to looking at some other options. That's a great opportunity potentially for a listing appointment. However, if they respond with, listen, if we can't sell this on our own, we're gonna list it with my friend Bob, we're gonna list it with my mom, we're gonna list it with my sister, you're listening for that on this question. Now, if the for sale by owner responds positive to that question, you're gonna respond and say, great, well, let's do this, and Bob, I really don't mind. I'm gonna send you an email with my for sale by owner backup plan. Take a look at it, and if it's something you want to review with me later down the road, I'd be happy to do so. Fair enough? This is the best script when talking to for sale by owners to generate the lead, get their email address, and get them to agree to continue communicating long term. So you're gonna do just that. When you hang up the phone, you're gonna email the for sale by owner your backup plan, but we're not done yet. This is where you're going to position the call to set up a potential listing appointment on the very first call. You're then going to ask the for sale by owner this question. It all comes down to how you deliver this question. You're gonna say, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I'm just curious, while I have you on the phone now, if I could show you this plan and walk you through how my for sale by owner plan works, and the numbers made sense, I'm just curious if this is something that you might be open to reviewing now versus waiting in the future, because listen, you're not gonna do anything unless it makes sense. Am I right? So we've positioned that call, we've positioned that script or this situation for the prospect in a win-win situation, because we're not using high pressure language. We're giving the prospect the illusion of control. We're putting the prospect in a position where they don't feel threatened to meet with us. We're positioning this potential meeting as just another option. But when you ask the question, so we've asked them about, hey, are you open to looking at something else in the future? They say yes. We turn right back around and we say, got it. Well, Bob, while I've got you now, I'm just curious, if I could show you this plan now, break down the numbers, and it all made sense, is this something you'd potentially look at now versus waiting for the future? Because listen, you're not gonna do anything unless it makes sense. Am I right? Because if you stop too early there, you're gonna potentially get the prospect to say no. So what you're going to do is you're gonna end that script when you're asking for the listing interview, or a chance to show them what you can do, or a chance to interview to get the listing. You're gonna end that by saying, Mr. Prospect, because listen, you're not gonna do anything unless it makes sense, am I right? And they always say yes. They have to say yes to that. So here's the entire script so you can hear it and how it gets delivered. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, Bob? Bob, this is Brandon. I'm a local realtor. I was calling about the property on Main Street for sale. And Bob, I understand you're selling that on your own. Is that right? Got it. And Bob, listen, I absolutely respect the fact that you're selling this house on your own, regardless of what other agents are calling and telling you. I'm just curious. Are you open to the idea of an agent bringing you a buyer for the home? Perfect. And Bob, I'm looking at the house now online. It looks gorgeous. I actually love the neighborhood you're in. What has you thinking about selling? Ah, that makes sense. And ideally, when would you like to move? Makes sense. And Bob, with the market being so hot right now, the reality is you're gonna most likely sell this house immediately on your own with no problems. I'm just kind of curious, If in 30 days, for whatever reason, you can't sell the home, at that point, would you consider maybe meeting with a realtor to look at some other options? Okay, great. Well, let's do this. I'll send you an email with my for sale by owner backup plan. Take a look at it, Bob, and if it's something you want to review later down the road, we can do that. Fair enough? Now, what's the best email for you typically? Got it. Now, Bob, while I have you now, I'm just curious if I could share this plan with you, walk you through a strategy and numbers that potentially made sense. Is this something that you might consider reviewing now versus waiting for some time in the future? Because listen, you're not going to do anything unless it makes sense. Am I right? So next, watch this video right here where you can watch me call live for sale by owners and using this new for sale by owner script to set now listing appointments. Click this video right now and I'll see you in the next video.